Welcome back. I'm Alfred Lambremont Weber, and today we have an extraordinary program, uh, one which certainly I did not expect, and um, there was a lot of preparation that went into this program over the last week and a lot of education on our part, and we're still learning and finding out more, and so here for the next couple of hours, we're extraordinarily privileged to have the ambassador, a representative from the Red Dragon families, which are very ancient families in the Chinese civilization. Welcome, Ambassador.
Good day, Alfred. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Now we'll be covering a whole number of topics over this time, but just to place things in context, I noticed I went back as part of my preparation. I went back and listened to your most recent update at your website. Of one of the organizations that you've sponsored, which is truevisionofpeace.com. And there you spoke about other truth movement workers such as Ben Fulford and Cobra, both of whom I'm personally familiar with. We've interviewed Cobra here at Exopolitics TV and newsinsideout.com. And I've known Ben Fulford from Japan, where we both stayed at the same spiritual center run by Yen and Yumi about an hour or so outside of Tokyo. And he interviewed me, and we were both correspondents for Press TV at the time. And then, of course, there's David Wilcock, Andrew Bashago, Laura Eisenhower, and others. How do you see yourself functioning, or your thought processes and values with people like Ben Fulford, Cobra, David Wilcock, Andy Bashago, Laura Eisenhower, people that our audience would be familiar with?
I think that we have probably a lot of similarities. Okay. But the main different thing is that, like if you take Benjamin Fulford, for example, I mean, him and his organization is very much based on basically giving news updates for what's happening around the world. Okay, I myself has never been focusing on discussing the politics in this forum and or be working as a giving updates, okay? Myself, also difference between me and Benjamin Fulford is that he's a journalist, and he's, much more qualified than me to research, information and put forward written context and giving updates to people of what's happening around the world. Even though I maybe myself have, maybe same or even more contacts into, happening around the world. So sometimes we're pulling the strings behind what's happening. But it was never my purpose from the family to go out to give extraordinary updates or being a person that gives out the brand news. You understand? So basically, that's, I think, is the biggest difference between him and me. When it comes to what I was supposed to come out, it was that I was called to go and deliver basically a war on ignorance, and that we're supposed to enlighten people to the reality and to explain for them what's going on. And because of all this misrepresentations that many people have done in the name of the family, and also at the same time also what's really going on in the world, and to make people see things from the other side and help to empower people, to allow people to understand their responsibility and how they can change their lives and also change the planet. So that's basically what is my mission. My mission was here to basically try to empower people, help people realize and see through the deception, because we believe that basically the problem that we have in the world is that our news agencies, our governments, and the people running them has a PhD in deception. And basically, we wanted to help to debunk this deception and help people themselves realize to see through what is true and what is not true. So basically, that what was my main mission. In that mission, also automatically, it would also debunk a lot of other people that actually is doing disinformation and actually in reality aggressing on the on the people that is not aware what's really going on. And in reality, as we all know, majority of the people on the planet, unfortunately, do not get their information from me and you and other people. They're getting it from the mainstream media, which is sometimes is clear propaganda. And they are also behind supporting and promoting crimes against humanity in many forms of supporting wars and other type of things all around the world and promoting products that's basically harmful for humankind. So basically, my mission was to create basically an awareness and also at the same time give for the first time a way for people to correspond directly with the people without intermediaries to the source of the people that takes the decision. And that basically what the title of ambassador means is basically in reality to be the messenger boy, to make it easy sounding between the people that is in the family and the people that is the common grassroots people, and basically see how humanity would be able to basically flowering and becoming this higher mind spirit that this era is meant to be. And so that's basically which is actually my mission. So I believe also that Benjamin Fulford, of course, has a mission of trying to help people and want to change things on the planet and so on. And I think that he has proven to me, at least, that he has a genuine heart in that regard. And even people are criticizing him that his information not always correct and so on. And unfortunately, these agencies and people giving information sometimes give disinformation too. And we cannot hold him responsible for all these things. And I don't believe that he's a bad person. That's my opinion. When it comes to David Wilcock, okay, I have to be honest, I have never really studied his work very much, okay. And I saw that he was assisting Mr. Keyman in some form of report on me, which was quite embarrassing. And, it would be nice maybe if he would one day reach out and we would have a normal civilized talk so that he could actually find out who we are and who I am. It would make him much more credible to do this work as trying to help humanity to realize what's really happening. It's basically going to the source and find out what's happening instead of making some half-done work. I don't know if it was David Wilcock who did this work. At least that was Keyman was saying, but I don't take much what he's saying for as a credible source to start with. But my personal opinion, this the princess that you also talked about from Japan. I'm also aware of what she's been doing. I've been seeing what she's been doing for years. And I also find that she is also a sincere person.
Right.
So basically, my opinion is that all of us actually is an important part in trying to help humanity to go forward. But we need to have a lot of discernment and using of discernment when we are reporting or going forward with the things that we do. Okay, especially since we have a lot of passive aggressiveness from many angles against us and against our message, and that I think is against all of us mentioned here. And so I think that it's better that we work together, all of us, to help inspire humanity instead of us engaging into ridiculous arguments and basically discrediting ourselves and basically making ourselves looking even more questionable because the world society has already made us as questionable people to start with.
Right. And And we were talking before the program. You mentioned how powerful people's different sectors, different parties' projections are, even onto the name Red Dragon families, that some fundamentalist Christians were thinking of the book of Revelation, where the red dragon it has a negative connotation of the Antichrist or some form like that. And also, Neil Keenan, who you just mentioned, said that, the red dragon families are really the Committee of 300. I mean, so you have all of these negative projections from different lenses coming through. Could you explain to us who exactly the red dragon families are and what the red dragon means? I think you were talking about red is
Well, the thing with this, the thing with this, where the red dragon, okay, actually is a code, okay, and in the World Bank documentation that he was referring to in the Committee of 300 and so on, is mentioned documentation for a lot of the funds and all the funds that is under the system, that certain funds is going and is being controlled by the Red Dragon family. And the Red Dragon family is a code because today people would say that China is not a royal country, it's not an imperial country anymore, it's run by the Communist Party, and basically, it's a republic, and it's not anymore run by an emperor. So still, if you would write the Chinese royal family, people would say, well, the Chinese royal family doesn't exist anymore. And so they would have a problem with this. And in reality, the Chinese royal family do exist still and has been existing all the time. And so the situation is this way, that the name Red Dragon family, okay, is the code red that represents China, and dragon represents the royal family. As you know, that you see the golden dragon that always was put in the embroidery work on the emperor, okay, and that represented the emperor was the golden dragon. And so basically in the Western cultures, we've been feeded through fables and through other form of, especially also from Disneyland, with, not Disneyland, but Disney Corporation, the dragons, they kidnap, princesses and, burning up cities. And you see about how it, like this new movies, the Lord of the Rings and similar type of things with the dragon and the dragon. So, but there is dragon is like a very evil, bad character, because that is part of the Christianity as you were referring to. But in the Asian culture, actually, the dragons represent royalty. It represents prosperity. It represents luck. And they were not looked upon as evil or bad characters. They were looked upon as a good sign. Okay, so it's a different cultural shock here. Okay, and basically the Red Dragon families, that basically means that the different colors under the dragons is represented there. So that is a code, but the Red Dragon also on the other side is a code for a special entity that is my superior. And this person, funny enough, for the fundamental Christians, is actually a Christian. So, many people, they would say, he's the Antichrist. In that case, it means the Antichrist will be a Christian. So this is, again, a funny, thing, but he is also part of one of the dynasty families, as, and what we are doing here is basically, we are trying to reach out under a banner, under the code, so that people actually could be able to do some research and verify that who we really was and who we really are. And because many of other, entities is basically, like I said, either made up themselves or fables. But this is actually something that you can actually research and confirm. And that, of course, is something that terrifies other people, that especially has been maybe feeding people disinformation and fairy tales. Okay, but on the side of we talk about the Red Dragon, and the Red Dragon in the Book of Revelation, it's like I usually joked with the Red Dragon many times, as I said that you know, if you would be the Antichrist, I would be very disappointed with the devil. You understand? And if I would be the ambassador of Antichrist, I think that, I would be probably a very poor choice. I don't think that I would be so charming and good and intelligent and knowledgeable enough to serve his titles. And so that's my personal opinion, because I believe that the Antichrist definitely has a PhD in deception. And as he called in the Arabic language as the Dajjal, or the serpent in the Torah, he's extremely, he has always tempted us and always fooled us and played games with us. And also Christianity has to also wake up to the reality that the Torah, which is the fundament of the Old Testament, mention only the devil 5 times, and or Satan. And Satan means basically obstacle, an obstacle between men. But in the Bible, in the Old Testament, the devil is mentioned over 125 times. So someone has added in this character there to basically make everything so much what's called different from what the original text is. And basically what the view that Jewish people look at the devil and the view that Christians look at the devil is quite different. And, and I believe that was put in a way because actually the Antichrist, he would actually, I think, and I know, is basically wanting to pay people not to take responsibility, because you see that even, the Christians and everyone else want to blame Jesus and crucify him for their sins. In reality, we have to ourselves take responsibility for our sins and also for our good deeds. We have the freedom of choice if we want to do good and evil. And basically, that's, the reality. And God basically will, look up on us and basically say that, yeah, you did good, you did evil. And even the devil cannot even force us to commit sin. We can only, as we say, be tempted, but we take the decision. And that's why it's our common responsibility on the planet to basically do what's right, to make it prosper, and basically take responsibility for our own action, and basically even silent consent. Our silence is a silent consent, and we need to put a stop for this tyranny that is on the planet. And this is also something that we are trying to promote in the tradition of peace. And what we are trying to do is to try to find unity between religion, and that is also something that many fundamentalists becomes extremely scared of, because they want to divide people into different sects and cults and in many different religions, and everyone has to fight each other all the time. And of course, if it's one creator, this is what the elders were believing, 5,000 years ago with Shanti, that it was one creator. And that's, and all these other people that come was prophets of gods, including Jesus and Prophet Muhammad and many others. And we have to be unified as one entity in basically believing the creator.
Yeah. Now,
yes.
Could I just come in here just at this time to ask because the context is that we were having and you have stated that it's okay to talk about this in our interview, because you recently underwent a heart attack that had many suspicious circumstances. In fact, I asked you if you thought that there was possibly a bioweapons or a remote influencing component to it, because I have been attacked myself when I was in my 30s with a remote weapons attack. That's for a heart attack. I had to admit myself to a New York City hospital. Fortunately, I survived, and it was related to try and stop my work. Do you think that there may be a party trying to stop your work and the work of the Red Dragon families in this area?
I believe so. I mean, the thing is this way. I know that first of all, I've been already poisoned 3 times during this journey, And but this time, particularly here, it's very suspicious, as we were talking about earlier, is that I have now been cleared for, I had an heart attack. You can clearly see that on the documentation from the Hong Kong hospital. But today, when you look at my blood vessels, you look at my heart, you look at all the data, the stress test and everything, I have no injuries on my heart. I have no heart problems. Okay, so either I was completely healed by divine intervention during this period of time, or basically it was some foreign substance, and actually the doctors has confirmed that it was a medication that was prescribed to me by a government doctor a few months back, and basically that medication can give heart attacks, can give even I think it was called brain cysts. So when it goes to the head, something you get to the heart attack, but it goes to the head. What happened to Ron? I don't remember what it's called in English. And the same thing is that it creates other type of problems like it can give you diabetes and so on and so on. And so basically, 3 doctors has stated that the medication, by their consideration, expertise, is the reason for the heart attack. And now this doctor is not to be found. He's supposedly on a vacation and we cannot find him. And so, either way, if it was intentional or non-intentional, the medication is the reason for why I had the heart attack. So, it's a suspicious thing, especially, being attacked in the past by poisoning. That time was, it was arsenic last time. And one time before I had another poison that was also that time attacking the heart. And that was in the Balkans. And so I think that it's a dangerous job that we do, because there's a lot of people that doesn't like changes and also doesn't like the ideas that we are having, because that it changed the power paradigm on the planet, and they don't want to let go, and so then maybe people want to get rid of us, and that's unfortunately what have happened. Also, it was another elder during the same time last time I was poisoned, that also was poisoned and almost died. And so the poisoning situation is something being used on a frequent basis, unfortunately. And as you know, even President Milosevic probably was poisoned there in Hague, and people didn't want him to speak during the War Criminal Tribunal. Okay, so and that poison that he received, I received in the past too. So I think that we have to see the truth. That the truth is that we are, we're having a lot of enemies, and also, like, for example, I face aggression on a regular basis, and many times I receive it from ignorant people and fundamentalists who basically doesn't like things because the red dragon, like you said, symbolizing Antichrist for them, and some people doesn't like because reds for them is communism, and then some Muslims is being upset with me because I'm critical against ISIS and different type of things. So it's always people that want us.
Well, let me ask you something, because I was going to go. I'd like to take our topics into the area of the hidden controllers, and you said something that I just got to ask a question on, because you said about the Jews following the Torah and then the Bible, and I just have to ask this question, because in the United States election, and a great number of the people that watch this program are in the United States and in Alaska, and we know that from all the statistics that are gathered. They are very interested in Bernie Sanders, who's a U.S. senator based in Vermont, who's running for president, and he has progressive positions. He's for the legalization of cannabis, which is, it's the holy grail of healing. Each cell has 2 cannabinoid receptors. It's just a tremendous natural healer. CBD does not have any hallucinatory properties. and this is being suppressed by the Matrix. Now, Bernie Sanders is Jewish, so and he's challenging Hillary Clinton. He's getting enormous crowds. Now, and they surfaced a rumor that he was a dual Israeli U.S. citizen, because it was the Israeli U.S. citizens who, under the right wing, who did 9/11. But he said, no, that's false. He's not. He's just an American Jew, Jewish American person. His father came over from Poland, really poor, and he made the Senate, and he lives in Vermont. Vermont is a good state. Okay, so in your opinion, can Americans vote for Jews?
I believe myself personally is very simple here, is that United States political system to me is almost sometimes laughable. Okay, now you have for example a person that they're making an issue about that he's a dual citizen. Okay, if you look at Ron Emanuel, okay, who is probably has been one of the most powerful people in the United States, much more than both Clinton and Obama. Okay. And, he is a dual citizen. He's both an Israeli citizen and an American citizen. Wouldn't it be better that a person at least show his true identity and his true face and allow him to be a president instead of, to be honest with you, I don't know much about this man that you talk about.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is this way, it's very simple, is that I don't care if a person is Jewish, if he's a Christian, or if he's a Muslim, or a Buddhist, or a Hindu. If he has a sincere heart, okay, he should be able to be eligible to be a president. Okay. Now, for example, when you look at Obama situation, which was called the first Jewish president, by the way, because he was put in power by very strong cartels. Now, when you look at him, for example, people are talking about it, he's not American citizen, he's not this, he's black, he's this, he's that. Now, we say that, okay, we take the discussion about that he's black, but his mother is white, okay? So what makes him so black? Why are people still so racist in the United States about his color? His mother is white. It makes him as much white as it makes him black. Okay. Now we know, and maybe both me and you know very well, that why he was put in power. It's also to fulfill Bible prophecy. He is the 44th president, which is 444, which is the beast of the leopard. He is the king of South because he's supposedly from Kenya. And basically, then who is his adversary? Okay, that's Putin, who is the bear, the king of North, and then you have the whole scenario. So basically, that's what the fundamentalist Christians and that the so-called Christians, Muslims, and Jews, which basically is involved in the secret societies, which people call the Cabal, basically, and by the way, I think they're actually sometimes miscrediting the Kabbalah, in my opinion, because it's a quite interesting knowledge to read. But at the same time, when you look at this type of thing, we are putting so much effort into who he is. I mean, Bush, for example, he was a reborn Christian, supposedly, okay? And he went in and killed all these people and behaved the way he did. Is he okay? He's a good American. None of these people in reality is original Americans. Everyone came to America and forced their way in there and Christianized the United States and aggressed on the native Indians and so on and so on, and had their own Holocaust there, which no one paid attention to. But at the same time, they are saying that only white people are Americans, so only Christians can be eligible to president. And also you see like this other guy, I don't remember, Cruz, I think his name is, one of the other senators who wants to be president, who was born in Canada. And, he should not be eligible to be president. I think that many of these people needs to go for a serious mental investigation by psychologists and other people, lie detector tests, before they're allowed to be eligible to be a president. And majority of the, as you and me know, majority of the people in the Senate, in the Congress, many of them are war criminals and corrupt people. So I think we should try to find the good person to be in power first and foremost, instead of focusing on his color or focusing on his religion, which is quite uninteresting.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Now, have you heard of Andrew D. Bashago, who's running for president in the United States in 2016?
No, I haven't heard about him. The only ones that
here is his identity. He was a childhood time traveler in the secret time travel program of the United States. As a 6-year-old boy, he went to the year 2045 and to a DARPA forward time base, and also back to the time of the dinosaurs, and back to the Abraham Lincoln time. They have a documentary of Jesus Christ, all of this stuff. And also, through time travel, in 1971, they pre-identified Bush Sr., Bush Jr., Clinton, and Obama as future presidents. They then went and told them, they co-opted them to be lifelong CIA agents. Well, Bush Sr. already was. And so that we have a permanent time travel CIA government. So he's come out as a whistleblower, and his father, who was his CIA handler in the time travel program, told him he would be a future president. So he's coming out and saying we need teleportation as the planetary transportation mode, which he saw when he went up on his time travel visits to the base in 2045. And so he's the president to take us there, and now he's giving us all the secrets of how the cabal works. It's through time travel. And so,
Alfred, just one question, just to find out if it's the same person that I'm thinking about. Is he the one that was a part of the Mars jumping project?
Yeah, the Mars jumping.
Yeah. Okay. Then I know who he is. Yes.
Yeah. It was my article in the Examiner that elevated that into the news. And when I revealed that Obama was part of that, I was in Kuala Lumpur as a judge on the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Tribunal, because Tun Mahathir bin Mohammed had appointed me as a judge there. And that weekend, while I was traveling to Johannesburg, they brought Bush Jr. over to Africa, and Obama ordered the articles to be taken down because they didn't want him to know that he was in Mars, that he had gone to Mars. So Andrew Bashago is running for president to expose all of this. And I think you should back him, and the family should back him to the hilt. So I just wanted to inform you this. It's out of protocol on the panel, but if you're serious, this is how to change the world the most, in my opinion.
Well, I know about him, and the family knows about him too.
Yeah.
Okay. We are aware about it. But it's just that my name, when you told me the name, I didn't realize it. But when you talk about the time travels, but when you said some things, it ringed the bell with the Mars jumping project, and that's I'm very much aware, because I know that Obama was supposedly a part of it too, and his mother was also Obama's handler.
Oh, good. Well, this kind of segues into the next sector of questions, which is about the hidden controllers, which is what we've discovered through the whistleblowers like Andy and like yourself, like others coming forward. And that is that we have hidden controllers that aren't out in the open. We have the Martians that may connect to the Homo capensis, the big brain coneheads, that are the descendants of the giants or the Anunnaki, The Martians are descent from the giants that came down from Marduk. They went over to Saturn, then they came to Mars and the Moon, and they connect to the ancient vampires. There's the Inner Earth people, the Lemurians. I mean, the Dracos, the Greys. They are all behind the fact that we have a planet of war, disease, crime, and poverty. So how can we get them to the table? That's the big question. What do you think? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it was strange because I talked and you couldn't hear me. No, what I was stating was that I think that we need to go back again in history, or back to the old scriptures and history matters, is that, you know, if you know the Japanese and same thing with the Chinese, they believe that the emperor's ancestor came from heaven. You understand? And so some people believe that, and I was telling someone before that I cannot verify that it's true that there are, as many say, that some of these elders are hybrids between, you know, Anunnaki and human people. But that is what some historian has been telling me that they supposedly are. But the important thing is, like I stated, is that when it comes to the serpent, we're going back again to the Torah, the serpent is the serpent. It's not the devil. Okay? And basically, that is, you know, the serpent bloodlines. You have Cain and Abel, you know, one is from Adam and one was from the serpent. And that's where coming in a lot of the so-called serpent people or dragon family people in Europe. And then you have, for example, the situation there where he's talking about the fallen angels in the Bible, but in the Torah, they're talking about the nobles. And who was these nobles? It was the Anunnaki who made, you know, made children with man and became giants and so on, as you were stating. So the evidence of what you're talking about is actually in the Torah and the Bible and the Quran. If you study them carefully in many other religions, you will find that we have this interaction with these other beings, and they're also created by the same creator. We all have the same creator. That's why we can somehow interbreed us in some cases. And some of them are created differently than what humans has been created, by different elements. And that is also written in the scriptures. So, but of course, you know, we were creating religions to create obstacles between men. And that's actually the satanic, what's called influence that we're having. And most of the time, that's why we need to wage a war on ignorance, because the problem is that if we are just basing ourselves that this is the truth, the ultimate truth that we believe, and not keeping our eye open, understand? We are living a lie, not only that, but also we are basically creating problems and obstacles between us and the Creator. But the thing that I've been stressing so many times is that we need, first of all, humans to be able to communicate with each other before we start talking to the extraterrestrials, because I have, through my work, had to speak, as I told you before, with an extraterrestrial, okay? And that entity is extremely intelligent, you know, an extremely, you know, powerful entity in many ways. And basically, you know, this is a person that works inside the hidden structures of the planet. And this entity, you know, even though, you know, he can claim that he created us or whatever, like they like us to believe, I still believe that if you are not very, very discernment person, you should not try to engage and communicate with them. You know, and we need to basically communicate with them on a forum with very good-hearted people. And first, we need to be unified, because if we're not unified, then basically these people and these entities will basically destroy us. You understand? And that's what I believe. You understand?
Right.
And also like the cone heads, I mean, you can see the archaeological evidence exists, okay? And inside of our bunkers in our historical places with backs the collateral accounts, many of these hidden technologies and special artifacts and other historical evidence is there. And actually, like I usually say to people, you guys are living in Disneyland, because what you guys think is the truth is not really the truth. And the people that tries to tell the truth, or is looked upon as being a conspiracy theorist or mad. And also, of course, you and me know that a lot of people were put into the system as disinformation agents to basically specially defame us, others who tells the truth, to make us look ridiculous. Okay, and so it's very important for us to try to. It's like I usually say myself. I have my own interaction in the past in my work with this entity, so I know that it exists. Okay, and I have other things that shows that actually it's the divine power on this planet too, by the creator. So I have my own religious, I believe in the creator, and I believe in the creator and follow his prophets, and that includes many prophets on the planet, and try to live as a good human and honest person and do my best. But at the same time, I'm aware that these other entities exist, but many of them I have not been myself meeting or seeing, but I have seen presented evidence for many things that I believe that needs to be investigated even more. And I'm not all knowing, so I really myself also like to get more knowledge into it. Okay, because also in my work, interrogating people in the past, I have learned to discern between truth and lies very much, and I can read into people, and that has been a part of my work and that's what I'm still doing in the family. And basically, is a lot of people that comes up with incorrect information, but that person that you mentioned about the Mars jumping project, I consider him, by looking at him, as to being a truthful person telling the truth.
Good, yeah. His information has always verified itself with other information or with other witnesses, and so there's always been very good confirmation. Now, you talk about shifting the paradigm. Is that like from a planet of war, disease, crime, and poverty to a planet of landing paradise on Earth? When you say shifting the paradigm, could you tell us more about what's in your mind about that?
Yeah, basically, like this is what I have been telling to people. Last time it was actually yesterday. Is that people doesn't see that actually the change is already here. Okay, we have a BRICS nation that is now coming out. We have the BRICS Bank and the Asian Infrastructure Bank. Okay, if you look at the true evidence there, and I will release that will now come from China about trillions being used and released into the world system in the coming very short time. And now this is public in Bloomberg. So, and this is something that I was saying supposed to happen now, and now it's happening. It's basically, but humanity needs to be ready to shift and change. So what we're doing is that we're going to have two alternative systems side by side. So basically, the old World Bank IMF system going to be coexisting by the side of the new emerging new system, which will be more the people's opinion. Because people say, Europe, America, Europe, America, Europe, America. Europe and America is, if you look at their population, doesn't represent the whole humanity. Okay, and like, for example, if you have a country like Norway, for example, supposed to put out the rules for people, it's just 5 million citizens there. There's even less population in the whole country of Norway than it's in Hong Kong. And you look at China and India and many of these other countries, and in South America, their voices needs to be counted. But you look at the Security Council, I mean, it's just European countries there, and China and Russia. And basically the way that it's put together, it's always Europe and America that decides whatever happens either way. And if basically Russia or China is agreeing on something, but they don't want to show them to agree, they will have no opinion. That's what is United Nations. But the United Nations has a secret structure, and that structure will be changed. And you will see, very, very soon that you should not be so surprised if even many of the world institutions is going to shift east too. And in that thing, it will be a more global perspective of the rights of humanity. And we need to rechange all these institutions. But you cannot do like many people says, oh, we want to have, the global currency reset, and then we have the big event and everything going to shift and change. This is a deception, okay? Because that would be so traumatic situation that we're going to probably have the Third World War, many people dying and all these type of things. We have to have a slow transformation into the new. You understand? But not too slow, but I mean in a manner that humanity and the countries can transcend without having major problems. Okay? And that's basically what we are trying to do at this point of time. And we are facing some resistance from the obvious old boys on the block. But at the same time, they are now being submitted step by step. And I think that we're going to be able to see a new world order in a manner where the people's voices will be heard, not just a few people's voices running the whole planet. And I think also the main thing is when this thing is stabilized, Alfred, you will see a new entity coming up to the surface that you never believed before, and they will be running the show. And I have seen the inner details of the plan for the future, and I'm telling you, it's looking bright. And instead of indebting people, they're trading off debt, and the system is so very well thought, and that would represent for humanity, and we will be able to do something that we could have a paradise on earth. But we have to take step by step. We cannot do the same mistake like Russia did when the Soviet Union fell, and freedom just came, and prostitution and mafia and diseases and problems and people stealing things. So it has to be done in a nice manner.
Yeah. As you're speaking, I know when we spoke before the program, we talked about Jade Helm, and we also talked about ritual child sacrifice and the pedophiliac networks. That's part of the current paradigm. Now, how do you see Jade Helm, which is a looming police state in a country which should not have a police state? And how do you see, stopping the global practice of ritual child sacrifice to keep the current matrix in power and to satisfy the addictions for, blood, human blood?
No, I think this is something very important to mention, is that we ourselves here, okay, are seeing now the Jade Helm coming up, okay? And I tell the people, look in which states, and then go back in history and you see why there, okay? Because these states was the first states that they borrowed money against, and the Americans has defaulted. Now this is going to be an asset recuperation thing, and they're going to turn this into, by my opinion, almost like a Nazi-style situation here in the United States. But at the same time, we do have a change to inspire the people to not to do it. You understand what I mean? And the only way to do it is by love and by understanding and supporting them and going out to the soldiers and telling them what's going on and telling them basically what you're going to tell your children. And very important thing too more is that this child, all the child sacrifices, things like that, these people needs to be rounded up and executed. And I think this is something, I've been fighting human trafficking for years, and I was requesting to have our own organization on the Interpol that will go in and take out all these people. But there again, we had all-time aimed to see and went in and support and start a blocked,
Okay. Let's go from that arena into another more positive vision of the future. We're leaving that area behind. And this is an area that I spoke to you about briefly, and it's a proposal for a treaty conference, an open treaty conference, which we've successfully used in Canada here, for all intelligent species on the planet. And that would be an open treaty conference to agree on, a safe and ecological beneficial use of the planet by all species on the planet. And we'd end war, disease, crime, and poverty, and commit to making the Earth a paradise planet. What do you think of that?
No, I think it's a wonderful thing, and I would really love to be there.
But that would mean putting it to because we're going to get to the area of the work of true vision of peace. That would mean working. That is, do you think that the hidden controllers of Earth are only Homo sapiens, and really, or do you think that they are really the big brain coneheads, the ancient land vampires, the inner Earth, the reptilians, the fifth, the upper dimensionals, right? And kind of a mixture of that, because you could say that the Satanists control the Illuminati, and then the light forces control other groups, and or do you think that it's just humans?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Now, yeah. Now I can.
No, I believe that basically we should reach out to these entities and we should try to unify and find a solution. Because I think it's important for us to go from being a planetary species to going outside this planetary thing and spread the word over to everyone.
Good. Now, I was wondering. I'm looking at your various objectives or areas of work. Would you like to talk about these at all? I.e., it says the vision of peace will campaign to influence decision makers in government, multinational corporations, global financial institutions, to heal and preserve the land, sea, and air. Would you like to at all talk about, in general terms, if you don't want to get into specifics, what you plan to do?
What we are planning to do is to, as we're doing now, is to reaching out to countries, organizations, and going directly and help them financially put together the projects that they so much need. So we're engaging directly with the people on ground in different parts of the world.
Okay. And you talk about strengthening personal and collective transformation of society through education of spiritual truths to call for divine intervention. Well, we need a lot of that. So could you talk about how that comes about?
We have developed certain groups that works to pave the way for the Messiah, pave the way for the return of the Creator, and at the same time bring the religions together in unity to actually embrace the Creator and welcome Him back directly to us. And that's a part of this structure.
Okay. Could you tell us a bit about this Messiah and the Creator? What you envisioned this to be?
Well, the Creator is the Creator. The same God that people call Allah, people call God, or people call Jehovah, or Elohim, or Shanti, like they did in China. And then the Messiah is Jesus.
Uh-huh. I have actually worked with and met two individuals, both psychologists, who thought that they were Jesus. In the course of my career, some people have written, there's a famous book called The Three Christs of Ypsilanti, Michigan. It's a psychologist book. People in the psychiatric ward who each thought they were Christ. In my case, there were two messiahs. Each have thought they were Christ. They were both psychologists, and I write about it in my most recent book. So do you believe that Jesus is coming back in the original body?
Yes, I believe that he will be returning back.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I do believe that he will be returning back at one point of time. But only God knows when that will be.
Oh, good. Yeah, because we're having an interview with people in the Urantia movement reporting on the adjudication of Lucifer, and there's the whole issue of the timing of the return of Jesus, which they're following from the point of view of Urantia. Okay, so now I understand. So are these beliefs to you personal, or beliefs to the Red Dragon families?
No, the Red Dragon family believes in the return of Jesus. And we believe that he is a prophet of God. Not God, very importantly.
Right.
But he is a prophet of God. And we believe that he will return back and he will usher in the paradise on earth.
Right.
And we will assist him doing it.
Right. Okay. Oh, excellent. So, and then it says the true vision of peace will repurpose investors, corporate executives, elected officials, and stakeholders to serve humanity.
That's something that we have been working on for a long time, is to try to bring in even the guys from the Rockefellers and Rockefellers and Rothschilds and Morgans and Stanleys and others to make them see our way.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And so you have publications, and which here at truevision.com, and to create awareness and will to promote green culture to foster a social change within key institutions and local communities.
And that's why we have a lot of volunteers with expertise in this arena. It's going to help to do from Traditional Peace TV, to be able to help the people to understand how to do this work internationally and how they can cooperate.
Right. And to establish new paradigms, to awaken humanity to the true reality, empowering us to move forward beyond ignorance. So this is very, I mean, just true to life.
I think that's the way we need to go. If we want to save this planet, this is the way we need to go. And we need to go together, all of us. And then when we'll start learning to go together, then that conference you talked about will be a very good solution.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Let me just see here. Now, we had talked right before going on air, you had just closed and finished last week. I think you had either 700 or 800 projects benefiting humanity that people had sent in through the truevisionofpeace.com website that were going to qualify or looked at for either no interest loans or grants, depending on the nature of the project. Could you talk about those? What the status of that project is?
The status of the project is that we've been doing projects, like I said, all the time. Now what we're doing is that we're bringing in grassroots people. Now I'm doing a big governmental financing and infrastructure arrangement in one of the BRICS nations. And after that is finished, we're going to go directly on the grassroots level people, which is the common man that has submitted things into us. And by doing that, we want to show the family and others that we can actually empower the common man to become a leader and a person and a force to be reckoned with. And that's basically what we are forcing and trying to put forward, is that it's not only the old elite, and we don't come here to create a new elite, we are here to create a better brotherhood or sisterhood mentality between all of us here on the planet. And also we have a process there with the peace cities and the refugee cities and all the other things that we bring up with the small societies that is based only on new technologies and new medical breakthrough technologies and everything. And where people that can by choose come and live where we are under divine law.
Very good. Are there any topics that you would have liked to cover that we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, so there's a lot of confusion as you was talking about the pricings and stuff like that and how Traditional Peace is built up. So I think I should do this for the first time to make a clarification how it works so people understand it better. In Traditional Peace, we have volunteers. They work with helping people doing business plans, helping people doing how to present projects. And after that, they pitch their project, they present their projects to us. And then it would send to an underwriting team, and later when that is approved and everything is other, it sends to me and then further to the family people. And then we take a decision if we want to fund these projects, and then basically helping grassroots people to come forward. We have put some fees there, that is there, and this fees which is there is to pay the volunteers. And the organization Traditional Peace is completely self-sufficient. It received some financial support from me in the beginning, but now it stands on its own leg. And also some fees that is put there is to make sure that we don't get the trolls coming there, overloading us with things that is not reality and just traumatizing us. So it's not about the money, it's about making a self-sufficient thing. And also at the same time, when people pay with cards and things like that, then we know who they are. And we're not just going to have every person just feel let's come and harass the ambassador in the pitch room because it's all open and free. So we made up some obstacles to make sure that people that want to do it really comes there. So it's not just people who just want to voice their opinion. They can do that on an email to us instead.
Very good. Well, Ambassador, we really want to thank you for taking your time to share deeply and at a multi-dimensional level the inner reality of you and your life and your family and all of the benefits that you're bringing our larger world at this time.
Thank you very much. And it's my pleasure to do so. And that's what brings my whole mission here, to try to do my best to help people, enlighten people, and bring them forward to become champions. Because, like I say, many of these people that has presented projects are so good for humanity and so much needed. So I consider them as big champions, and I'm very happy to actually be able, through Tradition of Peace, to meet these many wonderful people, including you too, Alfred.
Well, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.